Ooh, here we go again. I don't know where to begin. There is just so much going on in the world. It is so awesome to be alive because you never know what the heck is going to happen. I mean, if any of you are football fans, you got football. Uh, you have, I just saw the sitting Fed chair has an investigation launched against him. I just woke up this week and have a net worth of $1 million. I don't know. It's like, what is going on? So, how about those Bears, huh? How about them Bears, everybody? Dude, that's a heck of a good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good gets better and your better gets best. Like everybody's on board with it. Look at that. The coach has got me fired up over here in the suburbs. What are you going to do? So, what's going on? Good to see you. Hey, sorry about the false alarm earlier on. That was a product, and because Daddy was very, very, very busy and trying to rush through things and completely forgot to change the time. So, as I catch my breath here, because I was upstairs, ran downstairs, and was running around setting everything up like a lunatic. And we got it, so we're settling in once again. Yes. So the reason Dr. Evil is on there is because, like, $1 million, right? When I told my wife, this is the scene. This is what I had going through my head when I told her we had a net worth of $1 million was this. So bear with it. If you've been living under a rock or you're not into movies, you have no idea what's going on. This is what that's all from.
It's come to my attention that a breakaway Russian republic, Kripalakistan, is about to transfer a nuclear warhead to the United Nations in a few days. Here's the plan. We get the warhead and we hold the world ransom for $1 million.
Love it.
Well, don't you think we should maybe ask for more than $1 million? $1 million isn't exactly a lot of money these days. Virtucon alone makes over $9 billion a year.
Really? Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Okay, then. We hold the world ransom for $100 billion.
Now, I don't know if I'll get to $100 billion or not, but it's pretty funny when I told her that. I just kept hearing Dr. Evil. We have a net worth of $1 million. And, it's all nice. We took a minute. It seemed a little surreal. We've obviously been helped out by this raging bull market that just won't quit. And it really is so hard to fight the trend. The moment, what's going to stop it at this point? I don't know. There is going to have to be some near financial cataclysmic event or something to be able to derail the trajectory that the market's on. And it's just, you don't know. That's why I said in the video, time in the market is so much more important than trying to time the market, unless you are very smart and you know how to time the market. But, I told her, look, the market could drop 5 or 6% and we won't have a net worth of $1 million anymore. Well, unless, we could sell her wedding ring. I have a Haywood Wakefield dining room set that I inherited from my grandmother from the early 1950s that's got some money, some value to it. So, we could sell this Canon printer over here. I probably could get at least $20 for that. So, right. But obviously we don't include things like that. So yeah, Justin. Oh, Justin, what's up, man? It's been a minute. So while the net worth of $1 million is nice, again, that's net worth. I don't want any pedantic nitpickers coming at me. Yes, that is home equity. That is kids' 529 plans. I even conservatively estimated that 2021 Atlas we got with low mileage, no accidents on it, because yes, hey, if we needed to fire sale that thing, we can sell it for 20 grand tomorrow easily. So it obviously has value. So our next goal is an investment portfolio with just my name and my wife's name on it of $1 million. And like I said, we're about 56% of the way there. So that's what's up with that. Oh, Mo, dude, If any of you aren't on Blossom, I love Blossom. I've kind of just, no offense if anyone's still on X, I've kind of just given up on X, and all my social media posting and engagement has been going on between YouTube and Blossom. So cheers. Cheers to Blossom and to you, Mo. Let me get to see what some of you guys said, but Billy out there in PI in the Philippines wants to know, am I allowed to talk to you now that you're a millionaire, or only you speak to the elite? Oh, yes, Billy. Well, I thought I would go slumming it and come down here with you plebeians and talk with the low class people, but I'm very highbrow now, and I've just surrounded myself with the finer things, like this Procter & Gamble air freshener of Hawaiian Aloha. I'm always going to be me. And as I said in the newsletter, dude, it's just a number on paper. And my wife's still making dinner. We still have dishes to do. I was folding my laundry. It's like we stepped into some magical portal where now, we got some stuff to fix because, hey, I've put off on upgrading some things around the house, and it didn't get better. I tried. Have you ever tried that? If you have some drywall that's may or may not be, because you'll never see, I'll never show, there may or may not be a little bit of drywall that's peeling underneath one of our windows there. And I've given it a few years. It hasn't fixed itself yet. We don't know what'll happen in a few more, but things like that, it'll need more attention. And I think thanks for all your congrats, everybody. So we'll do news. I was going to show you, if you guys remember Eddie Elfenbein, he is a blogger turned fund manager turned, in 2006 started running this Crossing Wall Street portfolio, which he turned into an ETF. And what he does is he has 25 stocks. He puts $40,000 into each of them for $1 million, right? And every year he takes 5 out and puts 5 in. And that's it. The portfolio locks for a whole year. And he has a buy. Well, I'll show you. He has a buy below price. And he updated it. We didn't get to it. I was going to talk about it last week. And I'll show you that very, very quickly here. By the way, shout out, right? I got my Josh Allen, Laramie Cowboys and Buffalo Bills smash up logo shirt because my mother is in Laramie, Wyoming. She moved there 20 years ago almost. And she worked at the University of Wyoming, UW they called it. She just retired from there after 17 years. And she vividly remembers the Josh Allen time there. And when Allen was drafted, they had a bit of a party in Laramie, Wyoming, because he was like the best player that ever came from there. So really cool story. And it has, the heck were we doing? I was showing you Crossing Wall Street, right? That's what I was doing. So Eddie Elfenbein, and I put a link in the show notes. So what we have here is actually one of 2 pages. This is just what he's showing that they did for his buy list. And he gives the whole track record. So just to save you guys the time, if you want to read through all of this, here's his additions. So his 5 new buys were Casey's General Stores, Comfort Systems, ticker FIX, McKesson, ResMed, and interestingly enough, Sprouts Farmers Markets. And he sold Fiserv, McGrath Rent Corp. Don't believe it's owned by Mark McGrath of the Sugar Ray fame, Miller Industries, Otis Worldwide, which is one that I was looking at, and Dividend Collection Agency, our guy Travis, and Silgan. And then if you want to, this is what the link will go to. This is what it updates, or I should say the current price is the only thing that'll update on the Crossing Wall Street buy list. Kind of a neat little fun thing to look at. And he has in the 25 stocks what he thinks the price you should buy it below, and then the year-to-date return. And I'll let you go through that. And then at the bottom, he's very transparent. and has all the years of his total return and the S&P 500's total return, which he has outperformed by a few percentage points. But it's interesting as I look at that, and I don't know if you guys have the same thought too, is the S&P 500, I shouldn't have cut it off, has had a total return of 706% since 2006, since he started doing this. His portfolio, where he has to pick the stocks, he has to buy 5 a year, sell 5 a year, figure things out, what price to buy below, all that active managing. And he has a 713% return, 714. You want to bump it up to that. So literally neck and neck. And the beauty of that S&P 500, you don't do a damn thing to it, right? So that's in the show notes below if you want to bop around Mr. Elfenbein's website. But tell us, what are you buying? That's important. Back to the comments and some of you guys. Fishy Man. You know what? I would remember a Fishy Man name. I don't remember you around these parts, at least sharing your thoughts. So nice to hear you finally. Well, I guess it's seeing you and reading you. I'm not hearing you. Yeah, Justin Bourne. I don't even remember how I know you, Justin. So we shot once, I think in Ottawa. I think it was an outdoor shooting range. I brought my shotty, which we may or may not still have, but you won't get that's no more information than that, just because some people, but I think Justin is a brother of Shannon, right? And I think he knows my brother-in-law, Ken, I think. I don't remember. Chris, I'm so sorry, man. My condolences. I wish I had oh man, I don't know if I have anything to play for you. There's sound effects on here. There is, there's nothing for you, man. I just remembered that there's sound effects, but maybe you get I don't know. You get a little bounce, right? They got bounced. Sorry. And then this. Sega. Chris, I'm so sorry, man, but hey, I don't feel too bad because the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. So you guys were just celebrating less than a year ago. But you know what? Hey, Mo, thanks. Yeah, if you guys check it out, I thought it would be fun now that we've officially become net worth millionaires. But I feel like a millionaire in, I don't know how to say that, not financial ways, but and the money is just numbers on a screen. Yeah, it can make your life a little better or worse. It's just money. It's a tool, right? Money's a tool. It gives you the option to do more things. It just allows you more options, and it solves, all that money does is it solves money problems. So if money made you happy, there would be no sad millionaires. And I've heard that there are a lot of millionaires that are miserable. And Charlie, I don't know any billionaires, but Charlie Munger said he knows some lonely and miserable billionaires. So obviously, and then Warren Buffett used to say that in his opinion, the kind of like the hallmark of a happy life would be that the people that you want to have love you actually do love you, right? You can't buy love. You can get close. I can think of ways that you can get really close, but I think when somebody would be there for you no matter what. Hey, Turbo, Blossom is kind of like X, but it's from Canada, and most Canadians are nice. So it's a nice platform. But yeah, check it out, man. I mean, whatever you want to do, it's jump on there and see. It's kind of like, it's just for finance. There's none of the, so one of the things I didn't like with X was I started getting hit because I don't want to pay to use the platform, right? I understand that there will be ads surfaced. I'd rather pay that way, but yeah, I don't want to pay. I started getting hit with, if you want to read this post, you have to be a premium subscriber. I was like, you know what, Elon, I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that. So Jay, you want to look at EQIX. That's Equinix, right? Isn't that data centers, I think? Gold member gold member. I love it. Yeah. Turbo, you're talking about Eddie Elfenbein's buy list, and it's a fun thing to think about. But dude, isn't that an incredible thought to think how much? And yes, he locks it for a year, but still had to research individual stocks and figure out which to pull out and which to put in every year of the 5. But you know, hey, cheers. He barely beat it. So if it was like 100% more, maybe you'd be like, wow, but may add more TDAC. I don't remember what TDAC is. Maybe we'll look at that right after we do the news. Oh, there he is. So we're supposed to chat maybe tomorrow. I'll text you, Craig, and just to get some more. Yeah, buddy, I'm sorry. It's the frowny face. Well, I'll give you a virtual hug. And like I said, there's always next year. You guys just won it last year. I know it's not any easier, but that should be some consolation. At least they made the playoffs, you know. But Mo, thank you, man. It's funny as I was putting that video together and thinking about. So here's a little behind the scenes what I did. I used Claude, and I typed an obscene brain dump into it, meaning obscene in terms of length, everything I could think of, and then some. And I have it help me organize it into a script and make it compact and not be redundant. And I just wanted something just, boom, 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 hit the points right on. But yeah, as I was going through it, I thought, wow, I think the work ethic is so incredibly important. And I still remember that. Like I shared, that was my first job that I did deliver flyers for Pav Realty in Berwyn, which my grandpa worked at when I was like 12 and 13 and 14. But that was, a few Saturdays out of the summer. But my first job where I didn't know anybody and filled out an application and was hired was at White Castle. And that very first day, I remember it. They pots and pans. How crazy is that? And I just was like, you know what? I'm going to make this the most clean pot and pan area and that they've seen. And she was impressed. So still remember that feeling that Mary, dude, she looked the way that you would think somebody that had been with a White Castle organization, not corporate, like as that worked their way up to store manager looked. So no, Turbo, Blossom is not like StockTwits, similar, but kind of like, put it this way, if Blossom would be like a church or like a nice community center, StockTwits would be like a dive bar. No, that's probably too nice. It's probably like seedy Mannheim Road. That will make sense to people here. Seedy back alley strip joint. That's StockTwits. It can get really raunchy in StockTwits, which I find funny. Believe me. Hey, I was in the Navy. I'm not clutching my pearls when I'm reading StockTwits, but yeah, so it's similar, but yeah. Watching Visa to buy next week, Michael Kruger. I've been watching Visa too. And I've been watching for it to come below 300, which it won't do. Billy, I don't know where Adam is. Here we go. Some more buys. What did you guys buy? We'll do news here in just a second, but Mike, you bought Vici and Blue Owl, right? OBDC? Blue Owl Capital, yeah? Yeah, Billy, thanks for that. I appreciate that, Mo. And it could have been better. And you may or may not have noticed that this guy has a cold sore that won't heal. I thought about not recording, and then I said, I don't care. Just whatever. It's not about me. It's not about the vanity. If somebody can't get past it, whatever. It's not like I burned my mouth on a crack pipe or something. For Christ's sake, come on. Talking about burning your mouth on crack pipes. Thank you. What? Sometimes the jokes just don't land as well with your significant other. Thank you for the tea, Jen. Michael, yeah, we'll keep the football talk to a minimum here just because, and believe me, I'm sure I could talk for the whole 60 minutes just about football because I'm a junkie, but yeah, that was a crazy game. When I watch games like that, it's funny because how nervous I get. I didn't sit down for the whole, end. It's fun. It's fun, but man, I don't think my heart can take that. They got to win by more. All right, Steve, TDAC is a blank SPAC company with no operations. He said TDAQ. I would stay away from SPACs. Never been my thing. I remember when SPACs were all the rage, but we'll talk. We'll go look at those. You want to see the Supreme Court ruling on tariffs first? That I may use that if it's favorable against the tariffs and Nike gets a big boost. I might just use that as a time I might sell out of it. I'm still thinking it over. Believe me, I'm in no hurry, but long-term Nike should be fine, right? Does anybody think they won't? The problem though is, will they be dead money, dead money, as we say, not like the company's dying, just will they be flatlined? There's opportunity cost to everything. Are there better opportunities elsewhere is kind of what I'm weighing over. Yeah, speaking of Canadian things, you just made me think I was a millionaire in Canada, right? Canadian dollars. It's the position in EQB. Yeah, we'll look at that too. All right, we will pop on over EQB for Alid. Call you Al. Yeah, I'll see what's going on with TDAQ. All right, so let's do the news. Everybody's all jazzed up for the news you can use. Oh, I was reading about Health Peak here before I jumped on with you guys. I don't know if anybody even owns Health Peak, but while the dividend remains sound, the life science exposure where they had some life science tenants vacated space. That's never good if you're a REIT. And Alexander, anyway, we won't. Anyone can screenshot this. I didn't even read it. I was just starting to. But if you own Health Peak, they did get a dividend downgrade. So that's that. And this was the first little bit of news here. Not too much this week. This used to be Bank Ozark, ticker OZK, raising that dividend 2.2%. Fantastic. 10% dividend growth for a bank. Look at that. Was the last 12 months. But they just raised it again. There's Health Peak, dividend downgrade. They refreshed their outlook on Enbridge. So that means they tell Simply Safe gives their own take on a company and they call it their outlook and they refreshed it like they do from time to time and they let you know, oh no, what did I do? What did you do? Stop going back. That's what here we are. Nike. I posted this on Blossom. They got a downgrade, dividend downgrade from 80 to 70. And, the main thing that's got me all worried is that, and we're down 12%. So I got skin in the game, down $902. Doesn't feel good, but Yeah, they usually grow that dividend quick, and they're in the middle innings of a turnaround. But what worries me is, yeah, still has a price to earnings ratio of 33 for a company that's in turnaround. It's just, this is what worries me is the free cash flow payout ratio. Because remember, everybody, the dividend is paid from free cash flow. And with the free cash flow, you can pay the dividend, buy back shares, carry it as cash on the balance sheet, merge, acquire other companies, reinvest into the business. Whatever, it's the lifeblood of the company. And that free cash flow payout ratio last 12 months was 96%. So that leaves very little to reinvest back into the business. And when you see 171, now this is next 12 months, obviously this is estimated. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but that's no bueno for a fashion company, for an apparel company. I don't like it. If it were to jump that high, I'd be very concerned. And that would have to come down, because that means to pay that dividend, they're either going into debt or they're using savings, neither of which is sustainable over the long run. You can't just pay a dividend infinitely or indefinitely out of savings or debt. So, and I think their debt was rising too. This is Nike again. If you just popped on, yeah, sales dropped. You don't want to see sales dropping. Margins are compressing, and their debt still isn't that bad. It jumped up a little bit. So that's one of the saving graces or silver linings, is that debt is not crazy. So they could take on a little more debt to pay the dividend, but obviously all debt has to be paid back. So, and then the last one here, Olin, ticker OLN, another commodity chemical company. They are all struggling right now. Celanese, LyondellBasell, Dow, Olin, they're all struggling. And this is one of the problems when I think when companies like Olin, those are called, and correct me if I'm wrong, price takers, meaning that if LyondellBasell, for instance, they make polyolefins that go in the chemicals that make up plastics. Well, do you really care where the plastic for your plastic bags come from? No, you don't care. And the companies that are buying the plastic bags, no, you don't care. They're going to buy the cheapest plastic bags that they can find. So that's one of the problems, kind of like with, I think Albemarle too, right? Ticker ALB, the lithium. It's just lithium, right? It's right, salt from the earth. So that's one of the issues. And that's why I sold out of Celanese, because when I started learning a little more and seeing that they were super dependent on the commodity, then sorry, I'm typing and talking. I can't do that. Now imagine if I was chewing gum, typing and talking. Oh my God, his head would explode. Equinix, looking this up for you, Jay. Data center REIT, very safe safety score, looking undervalued. And I know some people out there are like, how can it be undervalued at $800 a share? Well, there's probably not a lot of shares outstanding to spread the earnings over, so price goes up, or it becomes quote unquote expensive. So data center REIT, grow the dividend quick, as we'll go through this quick. Almost 10 years of dividend growth. They're getting ready for another dividend raise here. And it looks like a lot, right? $18.76 per share per year. But they think they're undervalued. Does Simply Safe dividend yield, though, is way above the 5-year average. And I'd be curious to know why they are. Now, that's an interesting look right there. Free cash flow is dropping, but for a REIT, right? AFFO is really what matters, the adjusted funds from operations, because it's so, I think, front end heavy to invest in property that they have to, it's a different animal. And the better measure is the adjusted funds from operations. And that's only 49% last 12 months. So that still looks good, but it'd be nice to see that free cash flow per share though, because that must be the drop, -$7 when it has been positive and growing. And it would be very interesting to know, but the AFFO per share is still growing. And again, that's the div for the REITs. The AFFO is what you really want to look at. But yeah, sales are still up. They do dilute shareholders, but they're growing the AFFO and their sales. So if anybody, you know what we'll do? I'll give you their debt's not even too high. So it looks solid. Let's share this tab instead. See, I was looking up EQIX. This is this is Seeking Alpha. The quant gives it a hold. And there you go. Some of the analysts say things like ditch digital realty for Equinix. And all the analysts give it a buy. We have to go down to June of last year to get a hold. So interesting. The analysts say buy, but the quant says hold. And then we'll go in reverse here with TDAQ. What is this? The Tap Alpha Innovation 100 and daily 100 growth. So is this NASDAQ maybe? Is this like a covered? Oh, I wish this would give me the one sentence dumbed down explanation. Equity portfolio derivatives. So it's derivatives. What is this? Another covered call fund, I'm guessing. Maybe not. Dividend yield 4%. I don't even think there was any analysts on this. I don't know if it's new. There's not a lot of information here on TDAQ. So, yeah, I don't even have an expense ratio or inception date. There are one analyst gives it a hold. Oh, look at that. On December 31st, our guy Travis from Dividend Collection Agency, he said it's a hold. A new 17% yielder focused on delivering income and capital preservation. So very interesting. He gave it a hold, and he's the only one to give any analysis on it. So since it's a brand new fund, I'm not going to look it up on Simply Safe. Well, I will. Why not? Just to see that. Yeah, they don't have any much information on it. And then lastly, for you, my friend Al, A-L-E-D, Alid, I don't know what EQB is either. Is it Canadian? Because I'm not getting anything for, if it's EQGPF, is it a financial regional bank company? So I didn't even share that. Oops, sorry, you guys are still stuck on Seeking Alpha, so oops. EQB Canadian, there you go. So there was nothing on Simply Safe for it. So it's Canadian, regional bank, right? And the quant doesn't cover it, but the analysts give it a buy. So there you go. And one of them catches my eye, a dividend aristocrat in the making. All right, bunch of buys. So I don't know if that's of any help. You can screenshot and read those headlines if you'd like. So here we are. Let me stop sharing that. Pop on big to you. And what do you guys want to talk about now? Nike. We were talking about Nike. You think Nike will be fine? Un momento, por favor. Poor George Kittle. Looks like he tore his ACL. That's sad. I like George Kittle. He doesn't own Nike for the same reason Warren Buffett didn't like it. They have no moat. A shoe is a shoe, and you don't buy Nikes. Yeah, and you know what? We can all, they have no competitive advantage over any other shoemaker. Yes and no, because if you look at athletic sales, they are definitely ingrained with a lot of sports teams, sports-minded people, they have double the annual revenue about of the second biggest company, which is Adidas. So, you know what? Maybe I don't know enough about it, and fashion can be too fickle, they say. So, hey, but and this is where I get into problems. Peter Lynch and the like will say, as soon as you realize you don't want to own a stock, just sell it. Just get rid of it. Don't keep holding it. Because you do like I do, where I say my cost basis is almost $76. So I want to keep holding for that. But what are you going to do? Skechers guy. Hey, tell us you're over the age of 65 without telling us you're over the age of 65. You're a Skechers guy. All of a sudden, you're going to get a bunch of people like, that's it. This guy's trashing my Skechers. Forget him. I do own a pair of Skechers though. So why? Because I'm frugal and, hey, actually, great point. Fun little side diversion. My family's been making fun of me because I bought these shoes. They're my house shoes, but I've never worn them outside, but I like the support. And what are they? They're Adidas. So here's the guy that owns 100 shares of Nike, and he's wearing Adidas. And do you know what Adidas stands for? No, it's not all day I dream about sex, like Korn might have told you back in the 1990s. It's for Adolf Dassler, and they nicknamed him Adi. So when they started the shoe company, right, that he broke away from his brother, who started Puma, yeah, they're from the same town in Germany. He took the first three letters of his first name and the first three letters of his last name, squished them together, and you get Adidas, as we say here in the United States. But my European friends all say Adidas. And now you know all you need to know. And I understand, and I haven't seen it, that there's a Netflix. What do they call those? It's not a documentary, but it's just movie-mentary. No, I thought there was a word, not mockumentary. It's just the story of the Dassler brothers and Nike and Puma and why they had this bitter rivalry. And dude, the companies did not like each other. The brothers never talked to each other again, from what I understand. And they're buried in the same town. The factories were in the same town still, but like opposite ends. And the Dassler brothers are buried at opposite ends of the same cemetery. So apparently in death, they did not even want to by together. Yeah, actually, if any of you are in the area, where I got these Adidas from was the Adidas outlet in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. So if you're in the military and you have gov.me, no, ID.me, not gov.me. If you have ID.me, you can get 10% off your orders at the Adidas store. Beak, does that mean you've got Skechers running shoes? Because I know some people that are hardcore runners, it's like the Nike Zoom or Vomeros or what they wear. Morningstar FactSet Research, FDS, they're both kind of in the same boat. And I looked into FactSet a little bit, and I think a lot of financial institutions still use them. So what time is it there, Jace? I don't even know. Sorry, I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't. I can't help leaving the football on. I'm just a junkie, but don't worry, man. Where are you at in Australia? Because I was to Perth and Hobart in Tasmania. When doing your net worth, how'd you figure the contents of your house into that? So it is the Zillow estimate, and I go down a little bit from what it was. I think I dropped down 10%, kind of to get it in the middle. And no, it is in the middle. That's right. Because I don't know if it matters what I say, but it showed a range. So the Zestimate gave it was in the middle. So that's what, so it's what we owe on the house and then what the Zestimate is. And it's pretty accurate. We've looked at houses that were sold that are comparable and it's right around there. So yeah, is it a few thousand more, a few thousand less? Quite possibly, but it's close enough. And we have no intention of moving. So unless there's a housing collapse, so that is how we did that. And if you mean the contents, oh, I see what you mean, dude. Oh my God. You you mean like this? Like the contents of my house, like this air freshener that's 10% full? Hey, I'll bet you maybe I could get like 35 cents for this somewhere, right? Bam, goes on the net worth. No. We didn't figure any contents of the house. Like I said, I have a little crypto. It's under just under $1,000 of crypto. I didn't figure that in. And again, like my wife's wedding ring, some of the little bit of precious metal we have. Again, I have a very desirable antique furniture set that my grandparents gave me. It's a Haywood Wakefield set. I know, right? Now we're getting into furniture talk, but I didn't figure that stuff. Oh, okay. Okay. I got you. You guys, my wife would grab them quicker than I could. Same thing. So we didn't figure. And if I did that, obviously it would have been higher, but I didn't. None of them. This is important when we were talking about EQB, which I don't know a lot about. And that's why it's cool to see. Again, I've posted on Blossom. I get my Canadian friends up there, but EQB is a Canadian financial institution, almost like a fintech competing with big banks. So that's very, very interesting. And I don't know. I would have to think about that and do some research. Bryce Harper's a free agent, and that's a cost, right? Nike has to pay to get them, and hopefully it turns into dollars. I love it, Mo. Yeah, he's buying XEQT. I always see, and that's the thing with Blossom that I forgot to add is anyone can link their portfolio into Blossom, and whenever you buy or sell something, if you wish to, and you toggle it on, it will share anytime you buy or sell something. So, and Turbo, I was just messing around, man. Believe me, I think my kids even had Skechers. Not that, God, don't let them hear that now, because I've got an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old, and if word gets out that at any point in their lives they wore Skechers, they might just die. They might just lay face down on the ground and die. It's an alleged rumor that my children had Skechers at some point in their life. There's no photographic evidence that we can turn up, so it remains to be seen. It is 100% speculation and allegation. There you go. My most speculative stock, I would have to say, is Harrow, ticker HROW still. I like it. It's gone up a lot. No, belay my last. There's some nautical learnings for all of you. In the Navy, we used some nautical speak. When you'd make a statement and then you want to retract that statement, you would say, belay my last, B-E-L-A-Y. Belay my last. Portillo's is my most speculative stock because, look, Dick Portillo sold Portillo's, the brand name. His son Michael's part of the company. He's on the board. Dick Portillo, who I've met, I've done some work at his house. He sold Portillo's. They got great food. Love the Polish. He sold Portillo's to a group. The group was private. They decided we're going to go public. They went public, and now this new entity, that's Portillo's, ticker PTLO, they want to bring the joy of Portillo's coast to coast in the United States, but they're spending a lot of money to get that done. Is it going to work out? Stay tuned. We don't know. But that's what's going on with Portillo's. But yeah, will it work? Peter Lynch has said you can expand too fast and it's bad for the company. Peter Lynch, yeah, is right that there's so long as there's something that changes, not just the stock price. Wait, Peter Lynch is right. So long as there is something that changes and not just the stock price. I shared an episode of Talking Billions with Bogomil Baranowski, and he had Gautam Bade, who I still want to read his book, The Joys of Compounding. And it's very interesting. He talks about convex and converse compounding. I think it was converse. Essentially, meaning that because a stock can go, the downside is zero, right? But the upside is infinite. So the stocks that do bad, and then there's the stocks you have that do good that you hang on to, they will far make up for the ones that go down because they can keep going up and up and compounding and up and up. And there's only so far a stock can go down. So that's interesting. But anyway, he said something to the effect of it's not fundamentals that drive a stock price, it's supply and demand. But I think the pushback would be that the demand is driven by the fundamentals, right? If a company is solid, everybody's going to want to own it. And there's only a limited number of shares. So I think he's right on that, but I think it's a little too black and white, right? So I think the demand is driven by the fundamentals. Thoughts on threats to defense, buybacks, and dividends? The market didn't care, right? All of the defense stocks popped up. So, Pat, dude, I love it, you guys. Yeah, Jack, we don't know what's going to happen. And what is that I read about the new Trump thing, right? There's the tuna, they call it, and I think they're calling it Big Mac, which is midterms are coming. And I think when we hear things like the president in the United States here floated the idea of a 10% cap on interest that credit card companies can choose, but it's for a year. Why is it only for a year? Right. So I think that's something to think about, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Watch the market and see. The market usually gives you a pretty good opinion on the stock with the stock price movement. Pat, I think you have to own at least 2 pairs of Skechers when you're 70, or you might get a ticket. You might get a fine or something. I think they ding you on your tax returns. Docuseries, yeah, that might have been it. Oh, so you guys did see it. This is the problem of, I get wrapped up and then I get behind in the comments where we talked about the Dossler brothers. Yeah. So, oh, Lisa, everybody, it's Lisa's birthday today. Happy birthday, Lisa. So we never ask a woman her age. Maybe we should ask her, what level are you on, Lisa? So kudos to my wife for that one. We heard somebody's 73 years old. And she said, they shouldn't say 73 years old. You're on level 73, like it's a game. Yeah, Shoe Dog. Fantastic book, man. Fantastic book. He's in Sydney. I never got to go to Sydney. They wouldn't allow our boat in because it was a nuclear powered vessel. And they said they wouldn't allow any nukes into the harbor over there in Sydney. So, you know what? What are you going to do? Hey, better late than never, Ryan. That's Adam. Yes, everybody, we've been talking about the net worth of this Febreze air freshener. That's probably, it's about 15% full. What are we going to get for that? I'm trying to figure out what I put as a net worth onto that. I know we're wrapping up close to here, but Ryan, I am seriously, and I put it in the newsletter, considering adding IDVO, the Amplify CWP International It's not a covered call. It's a covered call ETF, but that's Kevin Johnson, wrote the book Walk Toward Wealth. And what I love that he does with that, he believes in owning the companies that they're writing the covered calls on. So even if worst comes to worst and they can't find any rational covered calls to sell, anything that makes sense, at least they'll be receiving the dividends from the companies until they do. So Alan used to use Febreze, now use the plugins got from Bath and Body Works. And you know what? Use it sparingly, because no formaldehydes, no dyes. A lot of the times with this stuff, they put a lot of, you don't know what the hell you're breathing in. So I know it's not all natural, but hey, what are you going to do? Blame it on my wife. She bought it. I didn't know that Blossom doesn't work with Danish platforms. Well, we'll have to, hopefully they expand there one day. I wonder why. Yeah, Rollins. Dude, what did I tell you, Ryan, about Rollins? And I've experienced this, and I can't believe it came to pass with TJX. It was in the mid 130s, and I so darn close to starting a position, but it probably would have been 2 or 3 shares. And I literally said, I'm probably going to say when this is pushing 170 or in the 160s, I should have bought it here. Here we are. Good point, man. Yeah, always pay that credit card off. Although I don't know if things are going to change in the future. There are some companies that, Mr. Beef. Mr. Beef, if you watch The Bear, Mr. Beef on Orleans, you have to pay more money if you use a credit card. And we just went there last weekend, took the kids, got some beef sandwiches, and we forgot to bring cash, right? We forgot cash. And it was funny because, I don't know, it would have been something like, whatever, say our order was $20. He'd say cash or card, and we'd say card. And he'd say, all right, it's going to be $20.77 or whatever, $21.12 for all you Rush fans. We can just make it $21.12. Yeah, good. I'm glad you guys said happy birthday to Lisa. I am so far behind here. I love it. I will get better. I don't know, Ryan. I think Eddie Elfenbein. Let's see. He still has. So I just caught a glimpse of this cold sore. I'm like, God, that looks as bad as it hurts. He has Rollins at buy under $60. And I'll bring you guys with me. We will. Oh, I didn't even get to share this. Let me hide you, Ryan. Friday, look where I worked. I worked at a facility that makes food for Tyson. I know some of you were all up on Tyson, but yeah, they got State Fair and Ballpark, and they feed the world like family. So I thought you all might like to see a Tyson trailer out there in the wild. How about it? Amazing, right? Okay, Ryan, I'm going to look just to see for poops and grins. Yeah. What? I can do it. I can talk and type and click and point. There's the buy list, but I want to see what Alpha Spread thinks Rollins' intrinsic value is. And I'll use burn up one of my, just to see their, come on, work with me. All right. So, oh God, there you go, Ryan. They give, and again, is this accurate? Who the hell knows? But Alpha Spread on the base case gives Rollins an intrinsic valuation of $27.96. And even on the best case, which I think is like 5 or 10 years of 5 years of 10% growth or something, they think it's $39.75. And That's funny because that's like where I think we started talking about Rollins at. So I don't even know. Is anyone? Let me scroll down, see if anyone's buying Rollins here. I know it's a lot to look at. I was like this. Let's see. They have $127 million of cash. Does Rollins and $485 million of long-term debt. Terrible. But I want to see if anyone is buying any insider buys. Oh, there's just so much information. It just keeps going and going. Here we go. So in the last 12 months, there's been several sales and no buys. So what does that mean? I don't know. It just means nobody's buying. I think I got you. Okay, you guys are talking of, I think, I don't even remember what we mentioned there. With the financials are good and nothing has changed. Oh, because we were saying, Gautam Bade said fundamentals don't drive the stock price. It is the supply and demand that does. And again, it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say what's overvalued because when we zoom out, what's it going to look like, you know? I think you're right, Ryan. And I mean, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. But top of my list, and I'm just waiting for one of them to have a really significant pullback, is TJX. They own TJ Maxx, Marshalls, some other smaller companies, Rollins, and then of course like the solid companies that we own. I'm always looking for pullbacks with them, but yeah, we'll see, Shannon. And it's, you know what? I don't know what the week's going to bring. We'll see. If something happened where Nike jumps, 5-6%, and another one that I got my eye on, or companies that I own that I started a position, like I know they don't pay dividend, right? But I'm still Uber. I like them, and Kinsale Capital. I would, and Costco. I can't forget Costco. They started coming. Did you see that nonsense all the way down to $850? And I was like, go, it's getting there. It's getting close to under 800. And then all of a sudden, just good news as usual from Costco. But Fast Eddie sold Rollins a bit back. I don't know if you guys were, oh God, Billy, could you imagine, Ryan, if Fast Graph says Rollins 1695. Could you imagine? Dude, if Rollins was at, granted, unless there was something really, really bad, that would be phenomenal. If it was $20, I would just literally load up. So no, I haven't. I think it's on one of my watch lists, and I haven't. Yeah, I'm almost ready to throw in the towel and just say, just break up Nike and put it into a little more Kinsale, a little bit, few shares of Costco and Uber. I'm still deciding. I was really hoping it would go into the mid 70s. That one again is just, I call it a speculative position. It's like going on a date, right? Sometimes you don't know if somebody is right for you until you live with them 24/7, right? If you just see them out in the club, hey, they may look attractive, but you got to be with that person. You got to sleep with them and see them in the morning, evening, night. And I think that's kind of like why I like to start a position, because I pay attention to it a lot more, and then I get a better feel for if I want to hold it long term. Sometimes it might pass gas when it's sleeping or something, but doing Christmas deconstruction, everybody. So, all right, Adam, I'm going to end with you, buddy. I like that thought. Costco to P in the 20s. You know what, man? But I take that back because I want to just do one last thing before we bug out. What Costco's 5-year average is, and this is something that I thought about was, yeah, they think Costco's valuation is 748 to 915, but let me just show you this, Adam. Such a strong company. My gosh. Now I'm looking for this. Look at that. The 5-year average PE is 40. 40. So that's something I was looking for. And that was going to most likely be my ultimate determinant, is to buy it below the 5-year average PE. And it got really close. So I think if it's at or below that, so 20, dude, look at this. It hasn't even sniffed a PE of below 30 in at least 2021. So I wonder when it's been 20, man. So that might be too low, but I don't know if that's too small. That's what I'm looking at here. So you can see, at least recently, when Costco's had a PE of, what's that, around like 31, 32, it's been there 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So I don't know. I think a PE in the mid 30s would be a fantastic place to buy. And that's where I might be waiting and watching for. So, you know what, man? Charles, I don't want anyone to lose their life, but we'll see. I'd love a Black Swan event where it's quick, it's dirty, nobody loses their lives, nobody's financially destroyed. And Ryan, I don't know what BRO is. What's BRO? We won't look it up this time, but I don't know if you meant bros, Dutch brothers, but yeah, only grows at 8%, not paying 40 Costco for a company growing at 8%. But then the thing of that, though, you got to pay for the premium, right? I suppose that's the premium that it carries. But yeah, we may have missed it, Turbo Liberation Day. But you know what? I keep this to an hour because you got places to be. I got stuff to do, wind down for before the week already started. It's Sunday, right? But anyway, hey, there's more playoff football here in Chicago. So I don't know. That means nothing to you if you hate football and you're not anywhere near Chicago, but at least know yours truly will be watching for another week. So thank you. Thank you. I hope you come back again. I really do appreciate it. It's so much fun hanging out with all of you, and I do appreciate it and look forward to seeing you the next time. Come on back, y'all, next time, you hear? Let's do that again. I tried to be slick and get out there with the real slick, and the only thing I did is slick myself right into the mess up. So here we go. Now we'll do it.